Hey everybody, in this episode we're going to be talking about multiplying and dividing integers, and this one's not going to take as long because it's much easier when compared with adding and subtracting integers. There's a couple of some rules that we have to remember, and we're going to first start with multiplication. And when you multiply two positive numbers together, you get a positive. When you multiply a positive and a negative, you get a negative. When you multiply a negative and a positive, you get a negative. And when you multiply a negative and a negative, you get a positive. A good way to remember this is not the way I'm not telling you to live your life this way or go tell everybody you know this. But it's just simply a way to remember this, and it goes like this: if a good thing happens to a good person, that's good. If a good thing happens to a bad person, that's bad. If a bad thing happens to a good person, that's bad. And if a bad thing happens to a bad person, that's good. Like I said, this is not a way to live your life. It's just a way to remember this. So when you're multiplying things, all you have to do is recall this here. The positive times a negative is a negative. Negative times a positive is a negative. And your rules, so you set your sign first, and then you just do the multiplication like you normally would with the numbers that you have. So if we had negative 6 times 11, we have a negative times a positive, so I know that my product will be a negative, and then all I have to do is do 6 times 11, and 6 times 11 is 66. And so I'm done. So decide on your sign, and then just do your multiplication as you normally would. Division, it actually works the same with division. Remember, division, you're just undoing multiplication. But it works the same. So if you have a positive and you're dividing them, you'll get a positive. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive. It's simple as that. And I think most of us have already seen this stuff. If you would like more on this, the book does a good job of explaining this in a little more detail. You can look through that, or we can discuss it more if you have questions and you'd like to have a little more clarification on this. Another way to remember this here is that if they're the same sign, you get a positive. If they're different signs, you get a negative. That's it. If you have questions, bring them to class tomorrow and we'll talk.